So
To order at 9:03 a.m. Sorry for the delay. We will first ask for an opening prayer from Ms. Sherry, and then we will have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Ms. Sherry.
Our most Heavenly Father, we come before you today and ask you to be with us as we continue this meeting and help us to have wisdom and understanding into your ways and make those decisions based on your will. We praise you and we worship you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I'm going to open the floor for discussion on the approval of the agenda. There's going to be a few changes made in the agenda, and apologize for all of you that might have traveled quite a bit. So
Yes, so if I may, Mr. Chair, on the agenda, can we move to after public comment, the executive session? That's the first change, and the second change is under action items B, the last sentence regarding the transfer of funds by former treasurer, that needs to be shifted up with item A.
okay, so those need to
Give
get
that a motion.
Is that your motion?
Yes.
I'll second.
So it's been motioned and seconded that the agenda be approved with the changes. Executive session is going to be following public comment, just so that you'll know that that will take place. And then, yes, on B, the last sentence regarding the transfer of funds by former treasurer, that would go after A instead of after B. Right?
Yep.
So it's been motioned and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now we'll open the floor for discussion on the approval of minutes. Is there any discussion? Seeing as there is none, is there a motion?
Motion we approve.
And I will second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor?
Aye. Madam Clerk did a good job on that.
Thank you.
Okay, so we will open up this time for public comment during this portion of our meeting. We welcome your suggestions and want to hear your concerns. This is not a question and answer period. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. The county commission is not able to act on matters discussed during public comment. Speakers are requested to state their name for the record. Anyone?
We've got a crowd. Got to have public comment out there.
Yeah, so I'll just tell you what's happening so that you know, and so if you have something later on that you'd want to discuss or whatever, I'm suggesting maybe you use this time in public comment, get it out. So my mother's having a medical emergency, so I'm gonna leave, and that's why we're doing executive session first, just so that everybody knows what's happening, and then I'll be gone. Hayden will be officiating the meeting and leading it, and so if you have something that you feel needs to be brought up, invite you to do it right now during public comment. If not, we will go into executive session, and we will try to be relatively quick and then be back into the meeting, and hate to put you out by doing this and changing the agenda, but just appreciate your consideration in this.
Chair, I would like to take this moment to introduce Tila, who is our fire administrator. If she
Yes.
Stand up. So, we stole her from the Health Council. But, she's been with us since December 1st. So she is in this building as a fire administrator. And then the goal is when she gets her classes, she will be the fire administrator / emergency manager.
Awesome.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome, Tila.
Yeah.
Are you staying warm enough in this cold old day? Okay. If you get cold, work harder.
All right. That being said, we will now motion and roll call vote to recess regular session and go into executive session. And that pursuant to New Mexico State Statute 10-15-1, only the following matters will be discussed in closed session. Is there a motion?
I'll motion.
Second.
It's been motioned second that we vote anyway,
Move into
yes,
executive.
all in favor? Yep.
Roll call vote, District 1,
Buster Green, aye.
District 2, District 3.
Hayden Forward, aye.
Now you're in executive session.
It's 9:09.
9.
Oh, here she comes. All right, thanks.
All right.
All right.
Where did you? Okay, it's spelled.
Started.
Okay, in the absence of Buster, I will see if we can take a motion and vote to reconvene back into regular session.
I will motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
District 2,
We will be no action taken.
District 3.
Hayden Forward, no action taken.
Okay, now we're back into executive session. What time is it?
Okay,
It's 9:43.
at 9:43, we are back into session. Moving on to item number 1, department and agency reports. Do you have a commissioner report, Audrey?
No, I'm gonna skip it.
You gonna skip it?
I'm gonna skip it.
Okay, well, give me a minute because there's some stuff that I've got to ring up here.
So while you're, I can, so did you see where the SBA, where they passed that, we're gonna be getting funding?
Cha-ching.
Yeah,
Yes.
finally, that's gonna be a good thing for us.
Yes.
That was like the biggest thing that happened that I see. And, I'm headed to cattle forage here in a little while. A lot of good things still happening, with the wolves and everything else, but yeah.
I'm glad you're going to cattle growers. Can you see if there's any talk about a bill going to the Senate Finance Committee for funding of the
We're trying, we should, hopefully.
if there's anything Buster or I can do to help in that process.
For sure. No, I will be on it.
Okay. So I don't know if everybody heard, but Secure Rural Schools was passed. The president should be signing it in a couple of days. And Catron County and our road department specifically should have some additional funding in 45 days. That's been quite the battle. That's good news. Additional good news, the county has been fighting Senator Heinrich's Wild and Scenic Rivers bill on the Gila and the San Francisco. This is the 5th year that he has reintroduced that bill. It went into the Energy and Natural Resources Subcommittee, and he once again said that local support is overwhelming. The only local support are environmentalists in Silver City. And those are the only people that he talks to. And I wish he would call me and I would be more than happy to tell him he needs to expand his horizons and talk to the other 15 counties that oppose this bill. So the good news is the administration, all of the land departments, BLM, forest, parks, they all came out against any Wild and Scenic Rivers bill. So hopefully, again, that's a battle being won. Audrey, this is important for us. The Glenwood Schoolhouse is going to go up for auction.
Really?
They had a price evaluation done, $285,000, which is well above our allocated funding.
Didn't that go way out?
It went way up. It went from 155 to 285.
Wow.
So I'll tell you, We're partners with the school board. I hope they auction it off for $1 million. And I hope it's a big business that comes in and buys it, and it just adds to our economy, right?
I will, sorry, our commissioner report's probably kind of screwed up because it's together, but whenever I sat in on the CLLA meeting, it was helpful to know that Grant County wants, and we'll have to go down there, they want us to come down there and tell them how to join for the ranchers, whoever, to sign up for CLA, and they've been seeing all kinds of wolves around and they're not liking it, and I'm like, just block our trees and you won't want more stuff. Grant County, like, they're super interested.
They're getting it. So I'm hoping that the legislative session, we can get together with Cibola County and talk to them about joining the CLLA as a voting member so we can bring Grant County.
Right. And then on the CLLA, did they vote to pass, was it, they hadn't paid indirect damages?
They did.
And that's passed and that's gonna go out to ranchers?
So, the POs need to be created, the checks, hopefully, we'll be able to send them out Friday.
So for any rancher friend, they'll be getting some help.
The CLLA is the county's support to the ranchers for depredations on the wolves. We had a corrective meeting on the 6th of December to ratify votes that we took in October. Finished that up. In the second meeting on the 6th that we had, we voted in Sisto Hernandez as an NGO and Tom Patterson as our wolf, as our livestock representative. So the CLLA is moving ahead in a very positive way. And our past representative on the CLLA is now an ex officio, an official ex officio, as is Nelson Sherman. So things are going well there. I also want to point out that our representative in DC is just doing a fantastic job for us. Fantastic job. With his help, we've been dealing with Senator Heinrich's bill, getting a lot of pushback on that. Pushback to Senator Heinrich. We're dealing with timber sales issues. Wild and Scenic, he helped us also with secure rural schools. And I got to give Gabe Vasquez credit. He did what he could to push getting SRS voted on in the House, and he gave a pretty nice talk in front of the House. So I'm not often on Gabe's side, but on this, I think he did a good job. And by the way, there's another bill out there, S1125. That is to make an adjustment in our PILT funding. Right now, we get paid on population, and the least amount of population in the calculations are 5,000 people. So we're getting less money than we should because we've got 3,200 people, 3,500. This new bill reduces that down to 2,000 people, so we should be getting more PILT money if this bill passes. So things are going pretty well, all things considered.
I think it's going great. And then did you see, and I don't know how much it'll affect people here, but it could in the long run where Trump, they passed that bill for like $12 billion. Like, it's more for farmers and stuff, but the next thing they're going after is like cutting debt and all that stuff out so that farmers can actually we don't have all that stuff in our diesels. And I mean,
Haven't most farmers already cut out debt?
well, you always see them searching for things without debt. So, but just, I mean, it's crazy to see like good things that are happening, like common sense. It's,
Yeah. If they want warranties on their equipment, they go out and spend $3 million on a combine. If they want warranties, they have to leave all that environmental stuff on there and use the data.
And then whenever their equipment breaks, they're down for 2 months because they can't work on it. And Trump actually said it himself. He's like, farmers can't even work on their equipment anymore.
Because of the EPA issues.
All the computers, all the data, all the,
Yeah. Yeah.
he's all, we send them.
I see that our forest is there anything else on the commissioner's report?
Not on commissioners. This is the memo from Randall for the forest.
No, go ahead.
Randall, so the Forest Service came, they were just gonna say that Kamado Lake is now back open. And that was their report, so.
Okay, good. And Deb, thank you for the manager's report.
One thing I do want to make the announcement, White Mountain Regional will have a mobile mammogram unit here tomorrow. Okay, so, it just shared, that I included in my management that I'd like, if staff can share it down at the courthouse. I shared it on our Facebook, but we don't, Reserve normally doesn't get those kind of, resources, so this is a huge opportunity.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's good news. You know why? Why they are bringing the facility here for the first time?
Because we reached out to them, they were,
They're listening. Okay.
First time though, because I've had it done here once before,
Have you?
last year.
Okay. All right.
But it's gonna be right there in the PMF parking lot or the clinic parking lot.
and they have shown up
There's
to,
Joe.
we have shown up to, Quamato, to the health, we had a health fair that they were a part of, so.
Did you have any questions about the manager's report? Department reports. It looks like things are finally slowing down for the sheriff's department.
This is a roller coaster. About this, we have another deputy coming on, that's the first year, so, just one for the work, one short. Other than that, I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope December is an easy month for you all.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
All right. And Mark, thank you for your report. I'm sorry that you lost another guy in District 2. Hope you can get him replaced.
Hope so, yeah.
And thank you for the training.
We're working on it, Devin. So one thing I did leave out is we're having a meeting today with Harley Alsop, who's the engineer of the city, on gravel or pits, borrow pits.
Okay. Good. All right.
We're there.
Hopefully the governor will come through with the money for a grinder for you. Make those pits workable. Were there any other department reports? I did have one, Becky, a question that's associated with Mark. Were we able to determine if the $60,000 in expenses for maintenance also included major repairs, or was that just minor?
No, it was other things. I got to a point where I just stopped looking because it went over that.
Okay,
It included that, so yeah.
all right, so,
In my opinion, it's not beneficial.
okay, all right. Maybe we should put that on the agenda to talk about it next month. Okay, moving on to action items. This is the fun part. Consideration of resolution 20-2026. Remember that resolution should end with regarding the transfer of funds by former treasurer.
I believe that's the next one.
Well, yeah, we made a change on the
It was
agenda.
an adjustment.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Any discussion?
Yes. So, just to let you know what this one is, the second resolution is just a regular budget adjustment. So the $600,000 that was approved by the commission back in June to take out of the savings account to cover grants. So the second part of that was DFA needed a resolution. So DFA needed a resolution for that. So this resolution is covering that 600,000. And upon further research, I found another 914,000 that had been moved out of the savings in September into the checking. So that's sitting in the checking. What this is right now, what this does, I have to get this in compliance with those moves. And so right now, what I've done is I've sectioned it out because DFA says, you need to have a resolution and tell us where you're gonna put it. So with the amount of money that's there, we're running into an issue with grants again. So what I wanted to like to do, and this would since the money's already sitting there in the checking account, this would stop us from having to cash out any CD. And I do realize that SRS is 45 days, and we're not gonna make it for the 45 days on my second quarter report. It's gonna be, they won't accept it. So out of that money, I'm asking 250,000 to be put towards the roads for the time being. 50,000 to be put towards Firewise because he's falling short because he is also SRS. And then I have 2 POs out there, and one PO is for $587,000 for the airport grant. And the second PO is $360,000 for the electric thing in
Charging station.
Yes, in Pine Town. I cannot issue a PO on those 2 grants if there are no funds in that line item to cover it. That's against procurement protocol. It could get me in serious trouble. And so there has to be money in there and those 2 funds to cover that. So I was asking for another 587,000 be put in there, the 360 be put to cover that. And then that leaves us 267,000 in general fund to just function for the time being. But if we don't,
You go with it.
Was, can I just, go back to what you said, Fletcher? Who transferred that money, the 914,000?
the previous treasurer.
And that was never
No,
brought to.
I found it because I knew that there was 1.7 million in the savings account, and I knew the 600,000 had been approved. And now we're down to like 200 and something thousand in the savings account, so I just started looking, because I thought there has to be more somewhere, and there was another transfer in September.
So that 900,000 came out of the savings account?
Yes,
Isn't that Firewise money?
no,
No?
no,
Okay.
no.
All right. So it came out of the savings
Savings
account.
account is, it's basically general.
So we transferred 600,000 and 900,000.
Yes,
If my wacky math is right, that's $1.5 million.
yep, that's exactly it.
And that isn't sufficient to cover the 500K for the grant and the 300K?
Well, yeah, I mean, we have that, but then I was asking to use some of it to get the roads through until their money came. 250,000 to put towards roads, because they're having to cover grants also, and they're with the road money, and so it's creating
What, do you know how much we're gonna get for that funding?
have no clue. I know it'll be less than what we normally get, because they did already warn us on that.
How long before we get reimbursed for the?
That would depend on the grant person.
Well, we have to issue the PO to allow the work to commence, right? And so it really depends. And both of these are what we consider drop-down POs for the amount. That is the amount of the work. So we might be reimbursed portions of it. But what we're truly asking is this $914,000, instead of putting it back into savings or putting it into a CD, to allow us to keep it within the general fund to fund these, grants.
I mean, it's $1.5 million. Why we don't put it in the state fund where we get 4% interest and we can withdraw it on a 24-hour basis? I don't know why we don't do that.
And Becky might be able to speak on, because DFA's quarterly reports, it has to show within our account with
Yeah.
DFA.
But I have to show it's sitting in there right now, and this resolution will at least show me putting it somewhere within the departments. And so,
So
and
we're,
I have, and my report, I mean, it's, the second quarter ends the 31st of this month. I cannot have any negatives.
why can't you tell the DFA it's sitting in our state account? Why does it have to be in a checking account?
Because we're writing checks against it. The invoices come in and we write checks against it. And so it has to be, so you can't, there's different funds and you can't, I don't know how to explain this, Adrian, maybe, I don't know. So we have a grant in a specific line item for like the airport. And we have another grant for like Glenwood Park, okay? Within those, each one of those separate funds have a beginning balance. I cannot legally sign a PO if there's no money in there to cover that balance at the time of the PO.
Adrian, the state account, isn't there a checking account associated with that?
I definitely defer to Becky on this, but I'm not a financial guy. It's my understanding that the funds that we use for, that we could put in the state account are funds that are reserve funds or non-operating funds, right? Non-budgeted funds. If it's operating, then, we have to show that in the operating account. I mean, does that make any sense to me? I don't see why in the world, it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't see why we couldn't put it in there for 72 hours, make $700 and bring it out, but I didn't write that rule.
Oh, okay.
And each time you do that, and like you said, you could pull it out within 24 hours. However, I have to have a resolution approved by the commission to do that.
So what doesn't make sense to me is, let's just talk the grant for the airport, 500,000. We need to have that 500,000 sitting in a checking account, even though we're not going to write a check or a PO for 500,000. We're going to write a PO for portions of that.
You cannot do that. That's illegal. You cannot split up a PO for a project unless it's a separate vendor. If it's the same vendor doing the work, it has to be like the.
Okay.
So we write the whole check out and then we get reimbursed.
No, they will send, I have to put it in as
They'll send an
587.
invoice for 100,000.
So they may send invoices at different times and then we send it in, grant person sends it in and get reimbursed for it. So once that money gets reimbursed back, then that money that we've set in here, that can go back to wherever it needs to go back to. But right now, we need it for that cash flow to get us through.
The purchase, this always confuses me with the government finances, but the purchase order is just like the go button for the contract. All it's doing is saying, we're going to spend this much money, the contract is now initiated. That doesn't mean, you don't pay them with the purchase order all at once. You may be paid in 10 different increments, cut a check, but the purchase order is the governmental entity telling them.
And the DFA needs to see that we have the total grant amount in that line item, not making interest on it.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
That is what it is. That's how it is.
Okay.
So technically, I mean, on grants, so let's say we have $1 million grant, okay? So, in that case, what you can do is, you're only supposed to, you only have to budget as much of that grant as you're gonna use in that fiscal year. So like, if we have $1 million grant, we know we're not gonna use $1 million, and we don't have to budget that in that fiscal year.
Good.
However, these projects, I think, are gonna go pretty fast, and we're gonna have that money there.
Okay. So to satisfy the DFA in these budget adjustments, you've
Yes.
done everything you need to.
Yes.
All right.
And I will keep track of it so that when money comes back or whatever, I will keep.
Then we can put it in the state.
Mhm.
Yeah. Any more discussion, Audrey? You want
Well,
to
I'll
bust
make a-
out with DFA or?
No, I'm good. I'll motion that we move that.
I'll second. All in favor?
I,
Aye. Okay, resolution 21, 2026. Any discussion? Without discussion, do I have a
I'll
motion?
motion.
All in favor? Or I'll second. Sorry, Madam Clerk. I second. All in favor?
I,
Aye. Consideration of resolution 22, 2026, establishing employee work hours and paid holidays. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, there would be discussion on this. This is, of course, the agenda the resolution that's done every year set out basically the holidays. And, you know, again, I say this, it's important that holidays are something that this board determines. You know, certainly this board could make 50 holidays, or this board could have 0 holidays. It's not something that the state does or that the feds do. And so it's up to this board of how you would like to do holidays and issue them. What's important in this particular resolution is what you see before you is currently just this, and Kelly, correct me if I'm wrong, the state holiday list. Now, traditionally, this board also issues additional holidays, and I believe in the packet there is an example of the additional holidays you gave for the last couple of years. And this board needs to decide whether or not it, you know, it wants to add some of those additional holidays in. It's completely up to this board, but that is the discussion that needs to be had. Or move something around. I mean, again, you have freedom to do whatever you want. You could say Christmas will be observed on July 1st if you want. I mean, you can do crazy things, but I think the important thing for the conversation right now is to determine if you would like to add additional holidays as has traditionally been done.
So Deb, what was in the packet, that is not the holidays that we approved last year?
No, that would be further down. So if you go and it's got a green label at the top of it, like this one, and I can show you mine. And what staff has requested, the main difference is there has been, in the past, there's been half days, and they'd like to, the primary combination is you will see on the very first page, you have your standard holidays, which are aligned with federal and state. And that is, if we recognize those, the staff that has to work with the banks and post office and things like that, you know, we're taking the same days off, so it's easier. You will also notice we on this list is Friday, June 19th. And historically, we have switched that to a different day, either around Christmas or something like that, and use it. Have you guys found it?
Yeah, what I'm looking at is the approved resolution from 2025. So
For 2025.
Is this?
Yeah. So you're approving 26 right now.
Yeah.
We're currently in that cycle.
There should be 2 years examples provided from the file number.
Next should be 20.
And the half day, if I can speak on that, the half day situation was coming from payroll department. It's very hard to set up the payroll for half days, especially when it comes to like the sheriff's office and because of the hours they work, and it gets really confusing, and so it's better to just keep it.
But that's what you wanted last year, was a half day. That's why we came up with this last year. Don't want it anymore.
No,
It's too
and
I'm not sure who wanted it last year.
I don't know, but I know that Joe sent out an email to all the department heads or whatever, asking their opinion on it, you know, what they would like and everything. And whatever she got back or whatever, there was no half days.
Okay, so, Deb, the total number of days that we had off last year compared to the total number of days that you're requesting this year, do you have those numbers?
So I don't.
It's the same amount for Roman and London.
Because I see Good Friday, which was a half day, is now, you're looking for a full day, correct?
No, I
No?
don't believe that's been requested. Good Friday is not on the,
What's on the list is only state holidays. There's no requests. It's up to.
So I'm looking for what we approved
With the 2 half days
last,
added together, it was 11, and the state holidays is 11.
okay.
Was it in the back? It's literally attached to that resolution. Here.
So, I'm looking at the 2025 approved resolution 41-2025 that includes a half day. I'm now looking for the resolution that you want us to approve today. Is that in the packet?
Yeah, it's all in one piece.
Yes, it's the
It's the first page.
first page, but that's what we would add. We would add in additional holidays at this time. So give me the direction. I'll add them in if it's like what you want to do. Change around.
So I don't know about you, Audrey. I'm of the mind to match what the state is doing. Apparently, we did that last year.
You did it last year with additional holidays, with a couple additional holidays.
Well,
like
no,
Good Friday.
Helen just, if it was, we're matching the number of days, which is 11. So we wouldn't have added holidays without removing one also.
So in comparison to what the state has done, as I mentioned, so Juneteenth is, I believe, the origin of your half days. Okay, so on the state's list, you will not find Good Friday. But on the county list for last year, you will not find Juneteenth, right? And so
That's the only thing, like, I honestly think we should do Good Friday. And I think we should pull Juneteenth and give them Good Friday. I think we should do that.
But I'm not seeing Juneteenth. Oh, here
On
it
the
is.
state.
It's on
Here
the
it is.
state.
Okay. Okay. So I hope everybody's happy with the Christmas and New Year's Day days. I'm looking through this. It seems like it's going to be convenient for everybody. Many of the holidays are on Monday and Friday.
Either like, I think that we should either Indigenous Day or Juneteenth. One of the two we should swap out and put Good Friday
I agree. We need Good Friday in there.
I think President Trump renamed it Columbus.
on. Which one?
Juneteenth, yeah.
Yeah, should we remove Juneteenth and replace it with Good Friday?
What do you guys, like, what do you guys think? Because I think we should,
Good Friday is in April.
and see, Juneteenth is just right before the 4th. They're gonna have vacation there, and that would be another month where they'd have an extra day.
Yeah. Do you like it? Remove Juneteenth and put in Good Friday, which is in April? Okay. If you guys like it, I love it. Okay. Do I have a motion?
Our motion, we follow the state holidays except for strike out Juneteenth and add Good Friday.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Very good. This one's going to be interesting. Resolution 23/2026 recognizing public safety, telecommunications, and first responders. Any discussion?
This basically is a push statewide to have telecommunicators recognized as being first responders, which they are, because every call we get goes through them, and it doesn't mean that you have to pay a month. I was looking earlier, and they were already over 300 calls with dispatch this month alone. They base, every obstacle a person could face, and basically never really get recognized for it. If this goes through with the state, it would, push them over into the first responder para retirement program, which would increase their retirement. It would also give them, opportunities for, mental health, which, counseling would be provided if they ever need it, if they get a bad call, the state would provide that for them. And another thing it does is recognizes them as being first responders. And so a lot of companies, let's say a cell phone company, Verizon, for example, will give first responders a discount. So they, do that, a discount. And other than that, it also recognizes them as being part of, instead of just being the stepchild of first responders. And if you're all, want them up to be a part of it. Okay. I've done some little things. We've changed the name of our dispatch instead of Chattering County Sheriff's Office. They're now Chattering County Regional Dispatch, because they give them a sense of being. But the most monitoring thing would be the para. I don't really have the numbers on that. That would have to HR. But if it goes through the state, it's going to happen either way.
Okay. Charles?
So on the national level, dispatchers are, particularly among first responders, are considered part of the team, and being first responders, they're exposed to the same traumas as we are, because they're the initial people taking the calls. They're on the phone, they're living it without actually being there on scene. So in my opinion, the state is lagging behind by not considering them first responders, and we definitely need to push that they are first responders.
Many states have already made this.
You have any discussion?
No, I think I agree. I think I make a motion to approve that resolution.
Okay. I will second that motion. All in favor? Aye. And I'm glad that's going to move forward. I know they get special training. How to deal with emergencies, and the same thing happens in suicide hotlines, right? It's
And they have to have knowledge of law enforcement, EMS, the fire, get the right people to the right place at the right time. It's not an easy job or something.
okay. Very good. Moving ahead. Letter of support for the San Francisco Soil and Water Conservation District. Do we have discussion? Yeah. I read the letter and I understand what it is that they're asking for, and I think it's useful. Okay. All right. Is there any discussion?
I don't have any. I would move to read letters of support.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Delegation of authority for a vehicle purchase for the county sheriff's office.
Yes, sir, that'll come out of our LEDF fund. We were gonna need a vehicle probably later in the year. What's the employee, Dodge and, current year, they're having a closeout of their 2024 model, and took $5,000 off of it, so I figured we forward at this time, save $5,000.
Yeah, I looked at it and I was surprised. I thought it was a good price.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Like they might as well get it.
Yeah. Okay. Do I have a motion?
I have motion we approve.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you, Sheriff. Approval of an agreement between APHIS, and the county for their services. Any discussion?
And so those guys took off, they were here, but they're doing an outstanding job, county. They've got one ranger rider that was here today that's new and another one coming on. They've got a lot of traps in the ground and I think is the agreement with paying.
Yeah, and this is an annual agreement.
I think we have to do it. So I would motion we,
Well, and they're responsive to the calls that.
To everyone.
That they get.
Like-
They're,
they've been really good.
yeah, they pay attention to the producers when they need help. Yeah. I agree. Do I have a motion?
I motion we approve an agreement between USDA and
I will second. All in favor?
I.
Aye. Motion passes. Approval of capital outlay grant, capital appropriations for A22-G 5307. To renovate Glenwood Senior Center. Any discussion?
I can explain it if you want.
Yes.
We're in this grant, we're working on putting in a walk-in fixer fridge in the Glenwood Senior Center. And then also putting in an emergency generator so that when the power goes out, we'll be able to continue services not in the dark.
You're busy. You've got another 3 that's following this.
We met with DFA and we also had $500,000 that was approved of the applications I put in. So
Okay.
we're doing really well.
And this is all grant money?
It's all grant money, and it is not included in that other money. She has money set aside for me, because I just take it out as I need it, so.
Okay. All right. And I'm sure the senior centers that we're going to be talking about here, they're satisfied with the work that's going to be done.
Yeah, we have a lot of the other 500,000 that we have coming out is going to be doing floors and really doing some upkeep on our centers that need it.
I do have one question.
Sure.
Let me open this. So I understood what the dollars are going to be used for in the senior centers. But it also indicated that the dollars can be moved minus the allocation for art in public places. What is that?
When it's been a while since that happened. Part of when we get grants for aging long-term services for this, there was part of the money could be used by art to put on the walls, and that's included in here, but we don't have to use that anymore if we want to.
Fine art. $80,000 for art. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Lou, for everything that you're doing, all the hard work with senior centers. I appreciate that very much. And I know the seniors do also.
I was going to update you too to let you know, just because I haven't been here in a while. Our centers are doing really well. We really had to make some changes with the closing of the clinic because we transport a lot of seniors now. I mean, I'm on the road all the time trying to get seniors to medical services all over. And I'm with the staff I have, it's really difficult. I have been working with GMS to do the RFP for the next 4 years with the state. They are going to go ahead and apply for the RFP to manage the services with the state. And included in that are actual live-in wages. And we actually went out and did projections of what we actually needed in that RFP. So I was pretty happy about that.
Thank you for what you're doing. Do I have a motion to approve A22-G 5307?
I will motion.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Same type of grant. Do I have a motion to approve A22-G 5310?
I will motion.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Same same grant. Do I have a motion to approve A22 G5311?
Yes.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Wonderful. All of those have passed. Okay, appointment of Catron County representative to the New Mexico County's Insurance Authority pool members voting rep. Audrey.
Why are you doing
So we received communication from Cynthia Stevenson that our county has not had a representative since 20.
Adrian, do you have any insight on the importance of the insurance authority pool?
It's extremely important.
Yeah.
All I can tell you. I mean, whoever is going to be on it, you're going to be dealing with our direct insurance costs. So I think you want to have somebody who can have the time to really put a lot of work into it.
We should probably speak with all the elected officials about this. Can we table this for next month?
Yes, and now let me make sure we're also clear on this one. And Madam Clerk, there's two different boards that are for this insurance. I want to make sure we're on the right one because I get confused on the two. One of them is elected throughout the elected officials, and only an elected official can sit on it. And then the clerk does that election. The second board is appointed by this commission. It could be anybody. It could be the manager. It could be be anybody you want. So we're dealing with the one where it's an appointment, I believe, not the
Yeah.
election.
Because I think the elected official one is the board of directors that Lily does. And so this is the other. Lily's been that one for.
That's right. Lily is the elected one on that. So
Yeah.
this one could be the manager, could be anybody else, or it could be an elected official. So it's not voted on like the other board. Lily sits on.
Do they meet primarily during the legislative session, or is it?
They meet all the time. They meet quite often. And who's ever on that board may get put on individual claims committee boards, to decide how much a claim would be paid out for or not paid out.
I think we need to do some prep work on this. Considering the communication we need with our employees and the elected officials, I agree. We need to have somebody representing Catron County, and I will motion we table this to allow some additional.
I give just a quick thing on that. So Catron County has had, I'm literally gonna call it black eye with New Mexico County's insurance. I don't know how often we do it. This first year I've done what was it called? Something origami. And I mean, there was a lot of it. I think in the past that's been severely neglected. And I took on a goal in that, getting with these people and trying to kind of build up, because they just literally, they weren't going to spend their time on us because we haven't spent our time on it.
Okay.
So I know that's enough. Yeah.
We can appoint you.
I'm good, but you're aware, I've been working with Cynthia Stevenson, Lori Irvin, and Robin Martinez.
I think the sheriff can make it part of your job responsibility to be on this board.
If he chose to do that, I would do it for him.
There you go, there's the door.
Okay, we may be talking to the sheriff. Oh, okay. Audrey seconded my motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Okay, tabled.
But please do put it on the agenda for next month. direction of staff regarding Johnny on the Spot discontinuing services. What's your discussion, Deb?
We had discussion last month regarding this. The understanding at that point was Johnny on the Spot would still be servicing. They're no longer going to own the units. Your communication with them provided some clarification. They will not be servicing either. So that they said, we'll sell you our pumper truck. But we don't, according to our staff, and Mark's back there shaking his head, we don't want to get in that.
No. Mark, I agree. I've done some wacky math. And to buy that bumper truck for five
They couldn't give it to me.
There's some jokes in there, you know.
So the only other one that we've got is the one in Pytown, right?
Right.
We have one in Dattle, Piketown, and, Johnny on the Spot, the Reserve, and Glenwood.
So we're gonna have to just go out to the other people up north and see what they'll do to work with us. Yeah.
And I have done that. I've talked to Longstick and Still, and they said that they would service Glenwood and Reserve, which they're already servicing Dattle and Kamado.
Oh.
Now, I did talk to Gusty, who is the owner of Johnny on the Spot, and they both sell us a porta potty, however many we need, for $350 a piece. So.
Could you make a recommendation to us that we can approve and put on the agenda, or put on the agenda and approve?
I recommend that we go ahead and buy 2 porta potties, or we also have the rifle range too, right? So how many do we actually need?
So that was the direction to staff last time, was to research and purchase porta potties and bring back to the board to. So we've already kind of delved into the purchase of our own. This was the added issue that they're no longer going to be servicing it. Now we will have. The school bus is available to serve it, however, at an increased cost, right? If they're now traveling all the way to Glen.
Okay. All right, so we can legally direct staff to buy two new porta potties.
So we need, did you say we need 3?
Well, have you included the rifle range at Reserve and Glenwood as?
So I believe Johnny on the Spot said they serve 5, right? Isn't that what?
Well, there's one of each shooting range, I know that. And
Yeah.
how many do you have over here, Mark? 1?
We got 2, but we only need 1.
Okay, that's fine.
So 4?
So in her communication, they currently service 5 for us.
But he only needs 1.
So we only need 4.
So if we bought 4, we can really do that.
Kelly, doesn't the shooting range pay for those porta potties themselves? Okay.
I'm not sure what type of a contract or agreement or what the county's done over the years, but I know that we also give them $800 once a year. In October, we give each shooting range. So the county pays them that much, and then they also cover the porta potties.
If they're coming to Glenwood to service a porta potty, it shouldn't be a huge additional amount to take care of the porta potty at the shooting range either. Okay, you want to direct staff?
So, yeah, let's direct the staff to purchase 4 porta potties. And then we'll go out to, what'd you say, the log and steel?
The school bus,
Let's just, I
to
thought,
service them, is that what you're?
is school bus the ones that said they would? That's,
Yes,
wasn't there another person that was a little cheaper or no?
no,
Log stick and still.
No.
Dusty would be the other one, but I don't think he's gonna service it at all. He's gonna get rid of it out of.
Okay, so then the rest of it is then reach out to a school bus and have them service them. That'd be my motion.
And ask school bus to change their name.
Have you seen their pumper trucks?
No.
They're painted yellow like a school bus and they have little windows. And they've got little pictures.
So just so you know too, the porta potties at the shooting range, that's a requirement now for Forest Service, for the special use.
All right. Okay, did you hear the direction
I
of the
did.
staff?
Audrey made the motion.
And I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, moving on quickly. Approval of casual employee pay rate schedule.
Okay, so this is being brought to you today because we have a need for, kind of a high level, what I consider high level casuals. So for example, when we had the staff vacate the treasury, we needed people with financial backgrounds. So we had staff come in at a higher level. They were paid the same hourly as a deputy treasurer. So that's what, and we have that need throughout the county. Lily in the assessor's office had the need for a high level casual. She brought one in at the same pay rate as, a deputy assessor. So currently in our policy manual, you will see that we just have the casual rate, the $14.35 an hour. So what we are requesting is that we have also included within the policy, the ability to hire a high level casual. These are people that come with, knowledge, very knowledgeable in the position.
So do you have comment?
Go ahead and comment now.
So my question would be, what criteria are we going to set to identify someone as a high-level casual?
And who makes that decision?
So that would be part of the department head, whoever is hiring that position, and has made that decision. So Lily was the one to make her decision for her operation. The treasurer and I made the decision for, at that point, it was Rick, his operation. And I have made that decision within the commission office for my operation.
Do you think it would be better if we brought it to whenever that was gonna happen, to bring it to the commission? Otherwise, I can see issues coming up with that.
Yeah, this is, since there's no criteria to identify what justifies someone being considered high-level casual, I'm with Audrey, I can see some other employees saying, wait a minute, we've got a problem with this and some conflict.
These people usually are filling the need of an advertised position. They're just not working the full-time hours. So there is an advertised position, for example, deputy assessor. They meet all the qualifications of that job. They're just not working the number of hours.
It'd be kind of like in solid waste too, hiring a driver. You have to have a CDL. So you have to pay them more money or you're not going to get them. So, and that may come up soon now.
Yeah.
I think that I have no problem with it. All I'm trying to do is solve the issue, because I can see where Mark hires his best friend and he may be way qualified, but the general people are like, oh, he's just got his buddies getting the highest pay. But if it was run through the commission, they could say, well, the commission did it. I don't know.
So I'm just talking for discussion for the purpose of the commission. The policy could be that the casual employee rate will be the same as if it were a normal employee. You say, if you were to hire a full-time CDL driver, casual rate would be the full-time CDL rate, or would that not work for Will?
That's pretty much what we're doing.
Yeah, so we could just basically, we could just revise it and say, same as that rate, And that way there's no question, it's advertised for that, but they're not using it.
But if you have, so Mark's is,
Cut and dry.
yeah, they have a CDL, they're gonna be worth more, but the other offices, what credential?
Well, for example, the treasury, we had, somebody with a financial background that was a degree in finance, right? And so for that level to bring them in at the casual rate that somebody that stands and, files for us is, I don't think, we will be hard pressed to find somebody willing to assist the county because the majority of our casuals on some level have retired. They're just coming back to assist and they don't want the full time because it impacts their social security or their retirement on some level.
So you're saying that the criteria is that they could qualify for a
For that full-time
for the
position.
full-time position, but they're just gonna be a casual.
I mean, if they show, like, if they have the degree and stuff, like, good. I agree.
And I
I
say,
think the issue,
as an employee, so somebody could have a degree, or maybe they did exactly this for Home Depot, right? And they come and sit down at Catherine County, you can't pay them. They don't know any of our software, they don't know where anything's at, they don't know how it works or the policies. And you can't pay them what I'm making
Still have to train them.
just because they did it at Home Depot. I mean, that's great, and you can bring them in at a higher rate, but you're not gonna pay them what that employee made, because that employee's been working that with all of it, knows the rules, knows the protocol, all of that stuff. And I think that's,
so
Those
this,
people that are 14 years, they're gonna get
best
that.
practice at this commission's rule is you set the rate for, the competitive rate for the position, right?
Right.
For the position. If someone is qualified to do the position, then that's the rate that you pay. So somebody may be a rocket scientist, but if they're applying for the position of, whatever it might be, just to be an attendant somewhere, they're not going to get paid as a rocket scientist. They're going to get paid for the position. So you, and where that's also, an employee that's been there a long time, should get raises and things like that throughout, but it's still, you're paying them, their base rate is still for the position they're doing, even if they have different degrees. So really, the policy ultimately should be the casual rate for the position of, Mark's position, a CDL driver is X amount. That's what you should probably pay the casualty, X amount, and it doesn't matter that they used to own their own trucking company, that's still the X amount is what the market rate, whatever that's determined to be.
So what we're trying to do is align the casual rate with somebody that is qualified to apply for the full-time position to begin with. And instead of bringing them in they're qualified for $18 an hour, but they're being paid because it's casual.
So I don't know if that satisfies Audrey and our concern. As the commission, we're not against paying them more money if they're qualified. The question is, how do we set that criteria? I know you're saying if they meet the full-time position requirements, then they meet that criteria. But I'm also hearing that they still have to be trained just like any other employee.
Right, just like that, somebody that received that full-time position would still have to be trained.
Could we do something so like if once they get trained and they're knocking it out of the park and they've got their degree set, then they are allowed the increase? Instead of just bringing them in, they're getting top dollar?
Well, see, and my argument with that is we're bringing somebody in, for example, in the clerk's office. If she flew a position for a deputy clerk, we would bring that person in at the $18.04 an hour. And so we're proposing to do the exact same thing with the casual.
How long is our probation period for full-time employees?
9 months.
Oh, 9 months.
it's the longest one I've ever heard.
What if the casual came in at the lower rate for 4 weeks of probation time, and if the training goes well, then you kick them up to the high level?
The casual is always on probation.
Yeah, they never leave it.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't use the term probation.
We could use
We'd
something
say
else.
trial period of,
Trial period.
evaluation.
Because I do agree that with Kelly on some point, like if you just bring someone in and they don't know anything that they're doing, although they did it, it could cause heartburn, although once they learn and they're trained and they can be just awesome. I also don't want to cut out people that are really, really good that would apply for a job if it was worth their time.
But they're still casuals, that's the whole
They're
thing.
casuals.
They're not full-time. They don't get benefits.
No.
Well, and my issue with the training period is every person that starts with any position has a training period. And we don't say for our full-time staff, oh, you earn less while you're learning the job. But we're wanting to, so that would be my concern is he's about ready to bring on a deputy. He's not going to bring her on at a lower level until she's trained. And then, okay, after a month, you get paid more. You understand the job. And we're not, so if that casual is qualified for a full-time position to begin with, and, so that's my concern with that, having that training period is we currently don't do that with the full-time staff.
Yeah. So I don't know if the answer to the
It's whether what they thought, they're going to be.
evaluation.
And
then.
But if they're going to be doing the same work as everybody else on the days they're there, then they should be paid what the other.
If they're good.
Not what,
and
that's
they're
what they're years, but like
the
start,
training period should be very short.
but if they're
There's
going to be
the
doing
4
the same
weeks.
work.
I mean, that's the thing about being a casual is a casual employee comes in basically as needed. So the 4 weeks, the 4 weeks may take may take a year for one. On the other hand, when the treasurer hires someone during tax season, that 4 weeks may be 4 weeks. I mean, I would advocate, I'm a support manager on that, treat them like regular employees and you bring them in at the market rate. And if they don't work out, they're casual. We'll go down the road.
That is a good point.
That's a good point, it's easier.
Okay. Any more discussion? What do you think, Butler?
So,
How about one other question? If we did state that the commission needs to approve the high-level casuals and understand who they are and what's happening, is that timing going to be a problem? Because you may want to hire them tomorrow.
I don't think that'll work.
Yeah.
Like if they gotta have someone now and they can get them, we don't wanna wait for a month.
Yeah.
Or have a special meeting.
I would suggest that you just approve, motion to approve the policy that says casuals shall have an equal, a rate equal of the set rate for the position. They would just be casual and they're not getting their benefits and all that other stuff. So if it's gonna be somebody who's filling in for the deputy clerk, you figure out what that amount is per hour, that's what they get, but then they get short on the parallel list.
Change the wording from high level, casual.
Just casual employees receive the base rate of the position as it would be for full-time.
Base.
I will motion for the approval of casual.
At the base rate for the position they're filling.
Okay.
Did you get that, Madam Clerk? Okay, I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, approval of checks and registers. Any discussion?
Oh, motion we approve it.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Approval of payroll. Any discussion? I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Approval of payroll passes. Okay, we're going to continue with 6 action items. With item 6, action items continued. To be clear, I'm going to make a statement on behalf of Buster since he can't be here. and because he does have some personal involvement in these resolutions, he is asked to be recused from the vote. So we'll make that a note, please. And Mark, we'd really like to have the opinion of the road supervisor on these next 3 resolutions.
Okay, so we're starting out with the Briscoe Box Square Ranch Road. It's just a small portion of the road past a gate where, well, to better explain it, it's the end of our road where we turn around in a spot about 150 foot past there.
Okay.
And that's considered part of the county road also. But at the gate is where we want to end the road and vacate that 150 foot is all we're doing. Is that correct, Ed? Did I say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then the other 2 roads, 8009 and 8028. I don't see any problem in my point of view to go ahead and vacate those roads.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, if I might, just for the benefit of the public, this is the statutory procedure where you have appointed a committee of road viewers to go and view the road and determine whether or not it is either no longer needed or unduly burdensome to maintain. If a majority, the quorum of that committee votes that they are either unduly burdensome or no longer needed, this board may vote that they be vacated and the county will have no more interest in it. If the committee does not vote that they're unduly burdensome or no longer needed, then this board cannot vacate the roads and they will remain as county roads. So the action items would be to accept the freeholders report, and if they voted to allow you to vacate, then to vacate, or of course you can also reject the vacation. You don't have to vacate even if they approve it.
Okay. Do you have a discussion?
I do not, other than can you put them all in this one?
I think we needed. Can we put them all together as one now, or did we need to do that when we approved the agenda?
Or your thoughts and stuff?
I would vote on these ones individually.
Okay. So, do I have a resolution to approve 2026 FR 210 road per the majority vote of freeholders?
I motion that we.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Do I have a motion 25-2026 regarding road A009 per the majority vote to freeholders? I'll second. All in favor? Aye, motion passes. Resolution 26-2026 regarding road A028. Do I have a motion to approve by majority vote of freeholders? I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Motion passes. It looks like our next meeting is January 14th, 9 a.m. at the Fire Administration Building. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I will motion.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
One thing I'd like to bring up, when we vacate roads like this, the mappers and the assessor need to think about it. This goes on our list.
That's why we're now doing the resolutions, and so that documents that.
Because they're always telling me, well, we didn't know nothing.
Because the resolution aspect is relatively new, but it documents it for him. Yeah.
Okay, so, thank you.
I know you gotta go, Audrey.
No, I'm good.
10:55.